Howdy do y'all, this is John, and today we are talking about the original Resident Evil 2, a video game from 1998 by Capcom. And in the original Resident Evil 2, just like in the remake, you play as either Claire or Leon as they try to escape Raccoon City, which is now infested by a zombie apocalypse. And, in doing so, they also kind of get into certain other situations that are both completely different with each character. And just like with the remake, you have to play both campaigns in order to get the full story and the true ending. Claire first, then Leon, you get the true ending. So getting into it, first and foremost, what I liked about the video game, this game's story has aged so well that there's very few, video games that I can think of that have been able to, properly replicate what this game did. The closest that I can think of is the remake, okay? Which, to be quite honest, I will say this already, I do think that the remake's better. But I'll get into that later. It's not as simple as the first Resident Evil's story. However, they were able to create this very complex story that anyone can understand and make things bigger and better than the game before it, the first Resident Evil. And speaking of improvements on the first game, the graphics are a lot better, definitely dated, undeniably, but they're a lot better than in the first game. The backgrounds are extremely detailed, and they have this nice nostalgic retro look to them. Same thing with the characters. There was a huge, improvement in the character designs. They're more detailed, but not in a way that makes them ugly, but in the way that makes them look better. The voice acting, on the other hand, I'll give it this much. It's better than in the first Resident Evil. However, it's a 90s game. 90s games, other than, and I've mentioned this before, other than Metal Gear Solid and Charles Martinet's Mario, they don't have good voice acting. Now, when it comes to the gameplay, there unfortunately isn't as much puzzle solving in this game as there was in the first Resident Evil. Don't get me wrong, there undeniably is some puzzle solving. It's just not as much as in the original game. However, item management is still extremely important. You have to really just look at your items, try to figure out, okay, what do I need the most? And on top of that, the whole situation of trying to make it out alive, it's bumped up to 11. There's definitely more zombies hanging around in this game than there was in the first one. In some areas, you can easily just evade them, but in others, you're going to have to get your gun out, because there's no way to avoid them. This game also introduces two of the most iconic characters in the Resident Evil series, Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield. With Claire, I do honestly prefer the, remake's decision to have her already have a gun on her, rather than, her being handed a gun by Leon and automatically being gun savvy. I don't get that. I prefer her, already having a gun and knowing how to use it. However, her overall character development in this game is just incredible. She is an absolutely sweet, nice girl who doesn't want to be in this situation. And unfortunately, she has to get her hands dirty in order to get out of here. Killing zombies, killing monsters, And she even has like this bond with this little girl named Sherry that she's trying to rescue. This motherly bond. She has no relations with Sherry whatsoever. Sherry's not her cousin, not her sister, anything like that. But, you know, I'm just assuming here a little bit, her motherly instincts do kick in when she sees this little girl. And after that, she just wants to do whatever she can to protect her. I kind of wish in the Claire A campaign in this game, though, that she runs into Mr. X at least once, just like she does in the remake. Because with that thing there, it kind of makes sense for her to run into it. But no, you only deal with that in the Leon B campaign. And speaking of Leon, dude's awesome. Dude is an absolute Chad, so to speak. He, you know, is very tough, no nonsense, you know, a cop, essentially. And similarly to Sherry, he does run into somebody, Ada Wong, and develop a relationship with her. There is like a vastly huge difference between Ada and Sherry, though, with Ada being, you know, a friggin' agent. But I ain't gonna get into any more details than that, because that would be a spoiler. And I do want, you know, as many people to play this original Resident Evil 2 as possible. Now, in terms of the horror element of the game, how well that's aged, not going to lie, the whole fixed camera situation in this game definitely hurts the horror element, because when you see the zombies coming, that kind of ruins the tension and suspense, rather than just walking into a room and all of a sudden, oh crap. A situation you would get when you're playing in third person over the shoulder or first person. The only time that I actually felt the horror element of the game was whenever Mr. X showed up. Because Mr. X, you know, especially with that music, that thing, oh lord. Mr. X was literally the only villainous thing in the entire game that had his moments that, you know, sent chills down my spine, especially with this monitor thing that you have the option to look at. It's not required. And you just see him coming towards you. And you had no idea he was on his way until then. Yeah. However, I do wish with Mr. X that, just like in the remake, they had him follow you everywhere you go. No matter where you went, he was not far behind. Because in the remake, he literally follows you when you're at the police station. He follows you. He's trying to hunt you down. All that fun jazz. So guys, at the end of the day, the original Resident Evil 2, for the most part, it really lives up to its hype, its reputation. This is a genuinely great game. I only kind of have one real issue with it. Everything else was just a little nitpick. I do very much prefer the remake. I think the remake is genuinely terrifying. And, you know, all it really does is take what this game did first and just make what little improvements needed to be made for it. This game is terrific, and for any Gen Zer out there, because I am a Gen Zer, if you have not played this game, just like with the very first Resident Evil, it's on GOG Games. Please buy it, download it, play it. It is more than worth your time. I'm going to give the original Resident Evil 2 a 9. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Please look forward to more videos real soon. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Please also subscribe if you're new to the channel. And as always, please remember,